New Year's resolutions are stupid. Or at least that's how I've thought about them for my entire life. Up until this year, I've always really thought that way. Of each year, people would make New Year's resolutions and tell themselves that they were going to do something and going to achieve this and do this and that. And I always thought it was stupid, which a lot of the disliking and putting down of New Year's resolutions comes from my own life where I've definitely been afraid of committing to things. Um, Whether or not it's setting a goal and holding myself to that standard, like a New Year's resolution would, or even just saying I'm going to do something, um, saying I'll be somewhere, saying that I will do something for someone or have something be like that. Where a lot of it was I just didn't want to be held accountable. Um, and I honestly think that's why I don't like New Year's resolutions, or at least didn't until this year, or at least didn't understand them until this year. A lot has changed in my life this year. Some of it for the better. Some of it was really hard. Um, I'd say this year has probably been the hardest year of my life. From personal things to just challenges in my life, um, I've had to come to some harsh realizations in my life, or I guess harsh is subjective because my life has been easy. Not a lot of what I do in my life is hard. I don't challenge myself, and I don't push myself to do anything really. And it wasn't until realizing this that I also realized the reason, where my mind can come up with an excuse for anything. Anything anything could just be made up an excuse, where this year I've started lifting weights and working out. I've started dieting and I'm enjoying it. I love it so far. But what had stopped me beforehand was I would tell myself like stupid stuff like you want to still be that funny like chubby guy, right? Like you want to be that guy that's still funny, right? And if you get skinny and muscular and and get fit or whatever, or go on a diet, people aren't going to think you're that anymore. And so, what's really going on in my head with this is I I didn't actually think that. I just told myself that and convinced myself of that because it's much easier to just not do it. It's way easier. Way easier. I don't have to worry about finding out how to work out, finding out how to diet, finding out doing this and doing that. It's much easier. And it's much easier to always just find a reason to not do something. My mind is I'll pat my mind on the back a little bit, where my mind is pretty smart when it comes to that stuff. I can come up with some excuses. Um, it's like I need this to be perfect. I need that to be perfect. Oh yeah, I'm really anxious about stuff. I'm really this and that, and your mind is strong. Once you start telling yourself that you're thinking these things and you're feeling a certain way, you're gonna start feeling it. Um, it's everything comes from your mind. Your nervous system is all of your nerves are put into your brain, and they're all just different ways of being like, hey, something happened. Tell my brain this. I should feel pain here. And so your mind can do tons of stuff. And this year it's been a learning curve of finding ways to make my mind work for me. Make my mind, you know, do the difference. And instead of, coming up with these excuses and coming up with different ways of, oh, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do this. It's not perfect. You need to figure out the exact way to do this. And when it comes to lifting, you need to figure out the most optimal way of doing this to be able to do this. And a lot of what my own gears have shifted into is, instead of finding the perfect way to do something, just start. Just start. That's a majority of what you have to do is just start. Get into it. Get going. It's so much easier to learn how to do something when you're doing it. you can sit around and try to figure out the most optimal, the most perfect, the most this, the most that. It even applies to World of Warcraft too. Is you can watch a bajillion guides, 1,000, read a million guides, and see all this stuff. But if you don't go in and play the game, you still don't know what you're doing. You still don't know how to do it. You don't know how it all works together. You don't know what it feels like, what it's how each part plays into itself, and like the implications of all these things that you've been learning. And a lot of what stops me from doing that is that's the hard part, is because then I'm doing something. I can sit around and figure out the right reason, the right way, the right exercise, the right thing, and exactly how it would work and how it does this. But the hard part is making yourself do that. The hard part is getting there and pushing yourself to do that. Like finding a way to get yourself there where there's a reason that not everyone works out. There's a reason that not everyone does what you do. Not everyone is as successful as each other. There's different factors that come into play, and I can make tons of excuses where, oh no, I don't work out because I don't feel this. I have something. But it's in reality, I want to work out. I want the results of working out, and I want the hobby of it. So what started with something to take my mind off of stuff, where I started walking and I started lifting weights and stuff, where I had a lot going on in my mind, and I needed something to do to make myself stop thinking and to get a lot of that stuff off of my mind. And ever since I've just started, I have gotten so much better, and so much more has come off of my mind in a way. So I've kind of gone through a little rabbit hole of talking about this stuff with working out, and I tied it into WoW stuff and a little bit of that. But the real thing that I'm more talking about is, like I said, the New Year's resolutions. I every year have always just not been a fan of New Year's resolutions. I poke fun at people that make them, not to their face, of course. I just generalize people that make these New Year's resolutions, and I'm like, oh, you'll never do that. Like everyone that goes in the gym at the start of the year, they'll be out by the second week of the year, or they won't make it to the first month. And what does that do? Is that just to make me feel better about not making goals and not trying to push myself? The people that are making resolutions are trying to do something. Like they're already better than me. They're already going one step further than I am. They want something. And if I'm sat here just making jokes and goofing around about like, oh yeah, you made a resolution, whatever. What's the point of generalizing all those people? What's the point of am I better than them because I didn't make a resolution and didn't follow a resolution? The justification that is in my mind or something is just wrong. There's not really a point in me like poking fun at this. It's really just to make myself feel better about not committing to something and not actually trying to push myself. Because if I wrote down some New Year's resolutions, I'd be holding myself accountable for them. Like I would have something that I wanted to do written down, and that would put pressure on me. That would put expectations on me. And I don't like that. That's scary. It's not fun. It's all of these things where it just comes down to laziness and just my own like lack of desire. It really comes down to telling myself that I'm at a point where I want something, and just sitting there wanting it does nothing. I can't just keep wanting it. There's a time and place where I need to start doing stuff, and I need to do stuff. There's things that I want to do, and not starting them is no way of even getting close to doing them. Like something that I've wanted to do for a long time is post YouTube videos. I've always wanted to post YouTube videos. I've always wanted to make social media work. I've always wanted to entertain people and make people laugh, make people entertained, teach people things. And it's only been until now where I've been playing WoW for pretty much my entire life. I grew up on this game. My dad got me into it when I was very young, but it's taken me until now to post anything about it. When it's been a long time that I've wanted to post stuff about it. And I was always so worried, like I said, about making it perfect, making it this, making it that. And something that comes to my mind after realizing some of these things is, am I actually worried about making it perfect? Do I want it to be perfect? Do I really want this? Or is this something I've been telling myself that I want and that I am going for just because that makes it that much harder to start, or it makes it that much harder to even think about doing, or it gives me an out of, oh, I haven't started because it's not perfect yet. I haven't started because, I haven't figured out some stuff. I'll figure out some stuff. And then guess what? We don't figure out anything. I don't look into anything further. I maybe think about the things that are the easiest to think about and just go, oh yeah, I've been thinking about that stuff. That's some stuff I'm working on, or just whatever other random buzzword of way of saying that I'm not doing anything. Like this leads me into the resolutions. A New Year's resolution, from the newest perspective that I've gained, is it's a goal. It's something that you want to achieve, and you'd write it down, and it's good. It's good that it's a tradition for people to write these things down, and it's awesome that there's a community sense to this, where there's tons of people that are trying to make their New Year's resolutions, and people are holding each other accountable. And maybe that's what I've been afraid of. And so this year, I've written my own New Year's resolutions, and I'm going to hold myself accountable to them. And it's all reasonable things. I won't get the exact list out right now, but some of the things that I want is, I went about it in a way that was a reasonable way of writing these goals and things. I don't want anything crazy or like setting myself in such a high standard where it's not going to be reachable, or something like that, where it's still hard, but it's not out of reach for me. I started with, I want to make a living off of social media. Social media being Twitch, YouTube. I think those are the two that I'm really involved in and care for. I also don't think that the others are too terribly well to monetize or make things off of, at least not for what I'm doing. And so, as cringe as it may be, and as cringe as my mind tells me these things of wanting this, and admitting to people that I want this, it's a defense mechanism. It's telling myself that, oh, this is cringe. Don't tell people this, because if you really told people what you wanted and what your dreams are and things like that, then they'll all know that you're not achieving them, and you'll be held accountable for that. So here I am. This is what I want, man. I'm open about this. A lot has changed, and I'm here to push for this stuff. So I want that accountability because I really want it. So the way that I wrote the goals were, I wanted them to be in like a reasonable, like I said, a reasonable way, where it's stuff that's achievable and actionable. So underneath the making a living off of social media, I have both some checkpoints. So the checkpoints that I have are, I would like to reach affiliate on Twitch, and I would like to get 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. So these are two checkpoints and ways of getting to where I want to be. So whether or not I reach them within this year or whether or not I reach them within this month. Those are actionable things that I can look at and go, I did this. I'm on my way. And then from there, I can analyze and see what's the next checkpoint I want to get to. I can really pat myself on the back and continue this. I've reached a checkpoint in this part, and I've gotten to where I wanted to, and I'm one step closer to where I wanted to be. So another one of my New Year's resolutions or goals, I guess, that I wrote down was I want to continue to work out. I want to keep this consistency. It was hard for me to find like a goal that I really wanted because I don't really know about like a body composition or what weight looks like a certain thing or how much pounds or whatever would really do for me or make me look a certain way. But I have a way in mind that I want to look like. I want to have a lower fat percentage, body fat percentage. I like that look and I want that. I think it would look good on me. And another thing is I want bigger shoulders. That's one thing that's for sure is I think that would frame me out a little bit more if I had, bigger shoulders. But yeah, like I said, I don't really know what it all implies, or I don't want to do enough research to figure out these exact things and obsess about this, because like I said, I've caught myself in the area of telling myself that I'm figuring these things out and I'm getting there and I'm learning this and I'm making sure that it's right and I'm doing it right. And that's an easy trap for me personally to get stuck in, where I continue to tell myself that, oh yeah, I'm getting stuff done for this. I'm doing this. But in reality, I haven't started. So if I sat there and got, stun locked by just all these different things, like, oh, let me see, okay, let me measure my current body fat percentage, and then let me weigh myself and do the math on how much I want for a certain look that I want to go for. No. The goals that I have are like, let me grab my phone. I think they're written down. 1 second. So if I grab my phone, the way I wrote it down was build my body into what I want it to be. Lean and muscular. Continue my diet. Eat 160 grams of protein every day. Maintain a caloric deficit at least 500 calories per day. And then, so that was the entire like goal or resolution, I guess. Where I've been on a diet currently where I am maintaining a caloric deficit of at least 500 calories per day. Maybe I'm even doing more. I think I'm actually doing much more than 500 calories per day, like deficit, I think. I don't know. Again, I didn't look at this specific stuff. I don't know my metabolic rate. I don't know what it is. I eat food and I'm not hungry. So I think I'm okay. At least right now. And so then I also have the checkpoints. And so the checkpoints that I wrote for this one as well were 1 month dieting, 1 month working out 3 days a week, and then outside every day, 30 minutes of walking minimum. So the way the thought process behind these checkpoints were, I've been doing this stuff for a while now. I've been walking outside for 30 minutes every day at the very least since August. So I've been doing tons of walking, which that one also started as getting my mind off of stuff, and I loved it. I loved going outside, and it felt awesome. And walking outside, it was awesome. It's so nice, and I love going outside, and I love walking outside. And then another thing is, I've been working out 3 days a week. I've actually worked out more than that in the past, like more days per week, but I'm like now that I'm learning a little bit more about it, see, I've been working out and lifting for maybe 3 months, 2 months. I guess I'd say probably November was like the start of November was when I uh, was actually as early as like October, but I basically just started. Like I said, I'd got myself going. I started, and now I'm kind of figuring out a little bit more about it and like scheduling and structuring it better. So I've been working out 3 days a week. I've been having working out one day, and then I rest one day, and then I work out one day, then I rest one day. And I have different muscle groups that I'm working out each day. It works for me. I love it. It's fun, and I don't know all the specifics, and that's okay because I'm consistent with it, and I keep doing it. The more that I do it, the more that I'll want to know little things, and the more that I can figure out little things like that. But I'm not doing anything like crazy enough to have some serious injuries and things. So it's okay. I'm just starting. And so these are my two biggest uh, resolutions. I have others. I'd rather not say the others. Very personal to myself. But at the bottom, I wrote check in with myself. So once I reach I almost said calories, these checkpoints, I want to check in with myself. Am I happy? That is the first question I wrote. Am I enjoying what I do? The second question I wrote. And that's where I have these, after these checkpoints, I want to ask myself these questions. Right now, I'm very happy with my diet. I'm very happy with my workout plan. I'm very happy with my walking, my stuff like this. I'm very happy with my YouTube and my Twitch stuff. But I think it's important once I get to where I wanted to get to make sure that I'm still happy and I'm still enjoying what I'm doing, and I want to continue to do these things. And then from these check-ins, I'm gonna set new goals and set new appropriate things for what I want to do. Maybe by then I'll have researched some fat percentage body something, or I'll have a more specific workout thing that I'd like to do. But right now it's be consistent and keep doing it. Those are my goals, and I'd like to hold myself to that. So this has just been my perspective on New Year's resolutions, and you know, I touched a little bit about doing things and getting things done, and I guess motivation and drive a little bit. But for the most part, this is my stuff. So just when it comes to this stuff for resolutions, I've really changed my mindset about this, and I've rethought this stuff, and it's good to have resolutions. Continue to make resolutions, continue to push yourself, and have a desire. Be courageous and brave, and make something that you want to do. Have something that you want. And being open about it and telling people about it shouldn't be your entire way of fulfilling that, but being held accountable and holding yourself accountable. Something that I kind of forgot to touch in this is make reasonable goals. Make it reasonable. The way that I wrote mine down is it's all sustainable things and reasonable things, and it's not something that's a stark difference in my life. It's a goal that I think I can achieve with enough work. I wrote them down like that. And so something sustainable, something easy. I don't want to sprint for 3 hours every day, sprint 5 miles in the morning every single day. Maybe in a year or two, I'll be at that level where I want to do that, and that's something that I want to push for. But I'm not right now. I don't want that. I love my walks because I get to walk and I get to experience just the outdoors and just walk around. But keep them reasonable. Keep them real. Be real with yourself. Don't set these crazy goals that are just insane, and you hear about, I don't know, what the dude David Goggins, or I think that's his name. Like, don't be him. You're not him. You aren't. Be yourself. Make goals for yourself and hold yourself accountable. Be proud of yourself for writing out a goal and holding yourself accountable for that goal. With all this being said, everyone have a good new year. Have a great 2025. Whatever happened in 2024, if it was bad, whatever, man. If it was anything that happens bad yesterday, you get today now. You get tomorrow. You get all these things. Enjoy them while you have them. So I hope you enjoyed this different style of video. I think I'm going to keep doing more of these, depending on the reactions. Maybe I don't. Depending on how many things I have to talk about, maybe I don't. If you have questions, maybe a topic that you'd like me to talk about, if it gets me fired up and and ready to yap about or continue going on about, then maybe I can make a video about it and talk through it. So have a good one. Happy New Year.